Taking place in Scotland in 1975, Kaz reads a letter written by his wife Suze, wanting him back home to sort some big issue out, seemingly a marital issue, saying how she is tired of arguing. Being Christmas time with Kaz failing to go home to be with his family, his wife Suze and two daughters, Kate and Maddie. He opens their Christmas cards, feeling terrible for not being able to be with them, forced to be at work in the oil rig. It seems as if Suze doesn't want Kaz to work in the oil rig, but Kaz, having no other job or prospects, feels as if that's the only way that he can support them. A hard choice that he has chosen to make, just as difficult for him as it is for his family. A sacrifice he's willing to make to ensure his family will do okay. Finding a letter in Campbell's room sent to the management, checking out a room in a bad state and speaking to someone called Finlay, fixing the plumbing issues, it becomes clear that the oil rig is in a bad state of disrepair with many maintenance issues which could cause risk to life. By the looks of it, the management doesn't seem to care much, wanting to skimp on money in expense of the safety of the workers.
What are you doing up there?
Pipe's leaking. If it's not one thing, it's the other. See this whole rig? It's a pile of shite. It's falling apart. And we've only just started drilling. F***ing Cadal. And f***ing Rennick cutting corners.
Aye.
Going down to the canteen, there's more talk of the horrible conditions that the people are working in, explaining how England is trying to instate more oil rigs in Scotland's waters, dismissing all the disrepair and cries of the workers for dangerous working environment in order to save money to make more oil rigs for more profit. The rig is full of colorful characters, each with their own personality, with Kaz being a likable character amongst all the crews who look up to him highly. He happens to be an electrician on the board who sides with the crew members wanting a better and safer working environment. Just as he's busy talking to the people, Rennick, the manager of the rig, calls for Kaz on the speakers, being extremely angry. After a while of walking and climbing to getting up to Rennick's office, representing what a power-hungry man he is, wanting to boss over everyone and not listen to any, his insults are interrupted when someone informs him something is off with the drilling process, which causes Rennick to get furious instead of listening to what they have to say, nonchalantly and without a care in world, ordering them to continue and ignore any concerns.
Roper, what's the problem? Don't usually see you down here.
Drill's acting up this morning. Got the crew running around like blue-ass flies, but they cannot make head or tail of it.
Look, I know.
Shut it! I'm in a meeting. What? Hey, Gibbo, I don't care. We're on a schedule. It's a drill. You've got a drill, so drill through it. Yeah, well, Roper's a whiny old fud. He's got a problem with everything. I don't care if it feels off. Just f***ing do it, or I'll come down there myself.
Is that trouble with the missus?
You're fired. You hear me? Fired.
Right after putting the telephone down, Rennick reveals that Kaz had caused the police to come to the rig, inquiring about them, not expanding on it much more. Begging Rennick to keep him on the workforce, Rennick tells him to do one when he's left with no other choice but to go on the helipad in order to get off the rig. Just as he steps on the deck, a series of explosions shake the rig, possibly from the earlier concerns raised with the drilling, leading to Kaz and someone else falling off tens of meters into the cold waters of the North Sea.
I don't want to die! I don't want to die! Jesus, just hang on! Fuck!
Miraculously, Kaz survives the fall with people pulling him out when he wakes up sometime later, falling in and out of consciousness, being disoriented. Speaking to Brody, unfortunately Gregor, the one who fell into the waters before Kaz, was never found, being the only assumed casualty. In the meantime, the horrendous unsafe conditions of the rig is further displayed on how a dive bell is stuck with someone in it who's freaking out. The management seems to care little about the safety of people, punishing those who actually try to whistleblow or complain. Brody explains that the drill hit some sort of air pocket or caused a gas explosion, but they are all assumptions as they don't really know what happened. Kaz goes under the rig inspecting the damage when he finds something uncanny and unimaginable, a damage beyond anyone's imagination and something he's never seen before. On the speakers, Rennick just dismisses it, just like any corrupt boss trying to do damage control because of his lack of competence, saying that there's only some drill issues. These massive bursts of energy or explosions keep occurring, making it challenging for Kaz to explore under the rig. As he tries to go through the water tanks through flooded pipe room, he sees Finley warning him about Gibbo, another crew member who hasn't been alright since the big explosion, having gone berserk. As a matter of fact, he's making unhuman-like sounds and racket, with it echoing through the rooms and halls. Bypassing a demented and clearly struggling Gibbo, whom Kaz glances at for a split second, seeing a monstrosity, he finds Douglas being dead, who had tried to escape and go up the ladder with some sort of liquid with oil consistency smeared all over his face. Being understandably shaken, not knowing what to do, Kaz finally manages to get to the accommodation quarters, hoping to find others who are hopefully safe and unharmed. The phone ringing, he hears O'Connor's voice, who tells him that they need to get out of here and that they are looking for Rennick to authorize an evacuation order when the line suddenly drops. This is followed by the eerie screams of Trot, Kaz's good friend, who shouts for help before an agonizing scream, which leads to absolute silence.
I can't get to you. What's up, wee man? Are you hurt? Jesus Christ. Jesus, Trots! Trots!
Horrified to what he's seeing with the accommodation, the canteen, and most of the rig being badly damaged and blocked and destroyed, Kaz desperately tries to find a way out and find other crew members, not understanding how in a span of minutes things took a complete different turn, as he just woke up with Brody and Finley seeming completely normal. After finding a way into the canteen, miraculously Kaz finds Roy being unharmed but severely shaken, looking as if he's seen a ghost, and not a normal harmless ghost, but a savage deadly one. Kaz tells him to stay behind and barricade the door as he tries to clear a path to get to the lifeboats, leaving the rig, as Rennick will surely not order the evacuation. Roy begs Kaz to get back to him as he explains that he saw something on the deck, being terrified, to which Kaz promises him that he won't leave him behind.
Kaz, you won't leave me. It's bloody terrifying out there.
I'm not leaving you, pal.
I wouldn't blame you if you did, mate.
I mean, you've got all the food in here for a start. Listen, get your man upstairs on the case, and I'll see you soon, right?
As he goes to find a way, a grisly sight shocks Kaz, seeing remains of crew members clumping together to form some sort of an unimaginable organism, or at least part of it, with large vascular systems moving about, finding their way through the complex corridors of the rig, as if overtaking it like a cancerous tumor. These vascular passageways seem to be living and feeding, as if transporting nutrients to a much larger, deep-sea, mythological being. Moving on through the falling apart rig, Kaz hears heart-wrenching cries and screams of his crew members behind closed doors, asking for help, as if things are attacking them. The spreading and malignant, organic vessels and tentacles slowly taking over the rig seem to be the most likely culprit killing these workers, making Kaz tread carefully not to be one of the victims to this unseen being. A carefree Rennick blurts out nonsense to how the workers should meet at the nearest evacuation point on the speakers, until he sorts out the issue, who then should be back at work in 15 minutes, which displays the level of ignorance of not having a clue of what's going on down in the rig, being in his high-pointed office, being a corrupt and exploitive boss. As Kaz manages to get to a lifeboat which seems to be usable still, he follows the instructions to get it ready for boarding, but the cheap, poorly made mechanisms malfunction, dropping the boat into the sea. This shouldn't be surprising by now how many shortcuts Rennick took to build this rig in order to save money. That's when the helpline phone rings, with a furious Rennick on the other end telling Cass to get to the helipad, and yet saying he's still fired, but he simply doesn't want Cass to be added to his record of dead workers. On his way to get to Roy, Cass comes across a deformed monstrous trot who has been overtaken by these vessels and tentacles, who mumbles to himself and smashes things in his way, not being himself any longer. Hiding from him and bypassing him, he feels something strange gravitating him towards it, which he dismisses, managing to find Cass, who is feeling scared, hearing all the screams and monsters crawling around. Leaving Roy to get to the chopper and ask them to wait for others, Cass comes across a musty and abandoned rig, with screams and growls being heard, when he sees one of the crew members right in front of his eyes get taken by a clump of malignant growth with tentacles, absorbing the man in itself. This clump of growth seems to be a fusion of a crew member called Muer and whatever unknown monster, creating an unholy being that is Muer, struggling and seemingly fighting this entity as it asks for help and doesn't want to be alone, yet angry and hostile, wanting to hurt others. This leads to a crew member called Ines being taken by Muer when helping Cass to get up the lift to get to the helipad, essentially being a sacrifice, helping Cass get a safe passage.
Christ, no!
As Cass manages to get close to the pad, he overhears Rennick arguing with someone called Archie that they need to fly now and to forget others, showing how little he cares about other people's lives, when Cass runs with all of his might, getting to the pad to tell them to wait. But as he does so, they fly off right in front of him, leaving everyone behind. It's difficult to believe that they didn't see him coming up to him as he was waving his hands and still they weren't off the pad, which displays what a horrible man Rennick truly is.
But out here, I am the f***ing king. Do you understand me?
Karma, however, catches up with them when something strange happens, with the helicopter losing control and crashing back into the rig. That causes Cass pass out and have some flashbacks. In the flashbacks, it's revealed Roy is the godfather of Cass's children, someone who convinced Cass from beginning to go with them to the oil rig for 4 months only, something that they both regret now, with Cass snapping in and out of memories on how much he misses his wife Suze and wishes he never went on this mission.
I should have kept better than to let you two out together. The two greatest minds of your generation united over a bucky. Nobel Prize committee will be warming up their checkbooks already. You seriously think if you leave the country this will all just blow over?
No one's going to chase me out into the middle of the North Sea.
My mum always said I'd married beneath me, Kaz, but I thought you were smarter than this.
I'm f***ing doing my best.
No, you're not doing your best. What do you know about oil rigs, you roaster?
I'm good with the lecky.
Terrace houses, Kaz, flats, maybe a shop, if you're feeling adventurous.
Roy's put in a word. He said I'm up to the job.
Oh, for God's sake. Roy's a cook.
He's a chef.
He's a cook.
It's just for a few weeks. We'll just let it cool down a bit, and then I'll call Billy Chamberlain and have a word. Talk him into dropping the charges.
If you run the police, I'll give you the jail for sure. When are you leaving?
Tomorrow morning.
You are shitting me, McCleary. It's the girls' school concert.
I'm f***ing scunner, Suze. What do you want from me?
I'm just saying this, Kaz. If you leave us, if you run, if you go, then we are done.
In the flashbacks, they talk about how Cass had beat someone to a pulp for harassing Suze in a pub, leading to the person pressing charges, which is another reason he wants to run away for things to cool down, even though Suze explains that the police would possibly even give him jail time. It seems to be something that he just wants to run away from. It also shows that both Roy and Cass are heavily underqualified to work on the oil rig, depicting the corruption in these multi-million-dollar industries who try to cut corners and save on money, all in expense of middle-class or lower-income families' lives. These memories or flashbacks seem so vivid and real, which make Cass question his own sanity, as if being hinted he's being affected by whatever lurked in the deep, which was coincidentally encountered. Finding a letter in Rennick's office, it's unveiled to what the police was inquiring about and what this mysterious crime is that Cass was running away from. Strathclyde Police. I am seeking an information in respect of an incident that occurred on the evening of a Wednesday, 27th of August 1975 at the Duke Public House in the Denniston area in Glasgow. The incident in question involving a serious assault being investigated by our crime division, who are interested in speaking to a Mr. Cameron McLeary. As Kaz gets instructed to start the generators to keep the power going, he meets a reanimated deformed corpse of Rennick being taken by this monster, which has the ability to fuse with corpses and share their mind, tongue, and mouth to even communicate. However, it seems as if the consciousness of the corpses are still trapped within their bodies or heads as they struggle and beg for help to be freed, clearly suffering and in pain, being trapped in a nightmare, not able to control themselves anymore. But as time progresses, these consciousnesses seem to fade away, being overtaken by this growth, who start mumbling and making unhuman sounds. After managing to escape a deformed Rennick, Kaz manages to get to the generator room where he encounters an infected Adair, an unlikable Englishman stationed in the rig who Kaz is not too upset about having been affected by the monster. There he also meets Finley, who luckily is intact and unaffected, who just like Kaz didn't like Adair very much. As it turns out, there's more tasks to do than just simply turning on the generator, which makes Kaz go to the depth of the rig, to the very dark bottom, in order to change some fuse. As he does so, he finds this growth overtaking the rig, having pinned O'Connor to the wall, with Kaz watching the horrifying process of transformation into one of these monsters, with O'Connor suffering immensely, hallucinating, asking for Mary, who might be his wife. Something similar that he experiences when he gets too close to this growth or passes out, seeing the flashback so vividly and hearing his wife Suze.
Mary.
Man, what happened to you?
Go and fetch Mary.
You can hear me, can't you? You understand me? Jesus. I'm sorry. I can't help you. I'm sorry.
This growth seems to be somehow messing up with the mind. Managing to successfully turn the generators on, Kaz goes back up where he calls Roy to check on him, who seems to be doing not so good as he needs his insulin shot. Going to Brody in the control room, he instructs Kaz to fix the main feeds valve in the stack, as if the fire burns out, the gas could leak and cause a large-scale explosion, with the entire rig going up in flames. So Kaz is back on another mission in order to fix the flare stack. Managing to manually reignite the stack flare, Adair chases after him, which leads to him get caught in the fire, incapacitating and injuring him. This causes Adair to stumble around, causing the passageway to the stack start to collapse, which makes Kaz narrowly survive, but not before having the vivid flashbacks. The oil or the growth that is causing him to have these vivid visions, as if they have psychical properties, messing up with the mind.
No, I didn't mean that.
Why'd you have to... Suze. Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus. Suze. What have I done? Jesus Christ. You bastard.
After waking back up from passing out from the collapse, seeing some notes left behind from both Brody and Finley, they communicate with each other where to meet, thinking that Kaz has unfortunately died. Figuring out that they want to meet in the engineering, Kaz goes there where he meets Finley, who is surprised to see him alive. Soon Brody joins the bunch, who tell him that they need to leave, getting the rig floating, loosening the tension cables. But as Kaz had promised Roy, he decides to go back to accommodation and retrieve him, even though the way is heavily flooded with oil, water, and gas. Going to the accommodation quarters, Kaz collects Roy's insulin from his room and sets on his way to get to him. As he does so, he sees Roy sitting on the ground, being unresponsive, when he notices that he tried to reach for the phone before he collapsed, drawing his last breath before dying.
Please wake up. Wake up, come on!
Oh, you bastard. Don't leave me here. Please, big man, come on back. Christ, don't leave me. Roy, don't leave me. I can't do this, man. I'm scared, Roy. I'm fucking terrified.
What am I going to tell Susan? Hey. I mean, she's going to fucking kill me, man, you know? She loved you, big man. She really loved you. So did my girls. I mean, what am I going to tell them? Oh, sorry. Your Uncle Roy's not coming home.
This understandably breaks Cass, who dearly loved Roy, including his family, feeling as if he failed him, not knowing if he wants to carry on even, when he gets a call from Finley, who tells him that they still rely on him and need his help, giving him some encouragement to continue on. Getting instructed by Finley to flood the bottom part, the legs, he does so, which makes the rig get afloat. After managing to get to Finley, he asks her where's Brody, when she simply hands over the phone, when Cass hears for himself that Brody is stuck in the pontoons, which is slowly filling up with oil and gas, trapping him there, giving him only a couple of minutes before he dies.
I've only got a couple of minutes. I can't stop it. The rig's a time bomb now. You understand? One spark and... You need to find a way off.
Just get back up here and we'll work it out, yeah?
I can't do that.
What?
I can't get back up.
Wait, no, wait.
I'm sorry.
Wait, listen.
You're on your own now.
I'll come to you. All right?
No, you won't. You wouldn't even get halfway to me. The leg's flooded and the gas, it's not possible.
You got your dive gear?
Aye, but
So you can use that?
it's oil, Kaz. There's nothing to be done.
Do that.
I knew the risk when I came down here.
Can I lose you as well?
Listen, I'm alright, Kaz. I'm already back on Sky. You've never seen water like that, Kaz. Clear, peaceful. You just let go and everything's fine.
Aye. That sounds beautiful.
You go one day. Alright?
No, I'm never swimming again after this.
Kaz, you and Finley, you could do this, alright? I'm sure she wouldn't do something so stupid.
Brody, you there?
Kaz?
What's stupid? Talk to me.
It's getting higher.
Alright, I'm here, Brody. I'm not going anywhere. Alright, I'm here.
Get him!
Brody. Oh, Brody. Jesus. What do we do now, Finley?
Disney
He's dead and you don't think that matters.
He was always gonna die. All of them. Always. We'll see that. We don't f***ing about with the leggy and pontoons. And without a hope mail. Watching our pals turn into monsters.
This unfortunately breaks Finley, who loses hope, saying nothing matters anymore, as they saw their friends die one by one or turn into savage monsters, when she lights up her lighter, going to ignite the whole rig to blow it up into pieces. That might be actually a smart idea, as the monster or the growth could find its way to mainland, which would be catastrophic. But of course Kaz is not ready to go, as he wants to get back to his wife and his two girls, who he promised to be back to. As Finley goes as close as possible to ignite the leaking gas and the source of the growth, Cass goes after her when a column collapses, trapping Finley, who explains that she hears her son when the entity is close or she's close to dying. That's the same with others and O'Connor, who spoke about Mary, seemingly his wife. For Cass, it's his wife, showing the powers of this growth.
Kaz,
I'm here, Finley, I'm here.
Kaz. What? Who is it you hear? When it's close.
Who do I hear?
It's not your Christmas card.
I hear my wife. I just want to get back to her, Finley. To my weeds.
I hear my boy. When he was wee, you know. Hear him now.
Kate. I'm thinking Kate.
He's singing. We're not seeing him again, Kaz.
There's got to be a ship coming. You said it yourself.
Christ, Kaz. We don't want him coming. Jesus!
I'm sorry, Phil. I don't know what to do.
We've got to face it, Kaz.
What do you mean?
We can't get back. We can't. But I can.
What?
There's no going to stop with us. For fuck's sake, McCleary. For once in your life. Be brave. Be brave for them. You can't save yourself. You can save him.
Finlay explains how they were deluded, thinking that they can escape, as they are already infected, and if any ship even comes to their rescue, it will find its way to the mainland, which means the only smart and logical thing to do is to blow up the entire rig with the growing and breathing monster in it, burning. That's when Cass takes the light and does what Finlay wanted to do, as after all, despite seeming like a bad idea, it's the only choice that they have to save humanity and their loved ones. As he blows up the entire rig, leaking oil and gas, Kaz's life flashes before his eyes from when he met Suze, asking to marry her, and when he said he would never leave her, when all of a sudden everything blacks out and he finds himself in his house.
You don't recognize me, do you?
No, sorry, love. You know me.
You could say that. It's been a long time though, Kaz.
Oh, the big man a drink.
Jesus, Kaz. Because I really want to be thinking about Roy right now. Jeez.
I fucking love you. I love you more than anything in this whole world.
You daft bandpot. Well, you're not so bad yourself, all things considered.
Marry me.
You what?
I'm serious. Marry me. We'll make beautiful wains. I want to spend my whole life with you.
She's perfect.
She looks just like you.
Thank God for that. She's got your eyes though.
Everything seems intact and as it should be, with Sue sleeping on the other side. Kaz looks at the drawings of his daughters for one last time, having this opportunity to appreciate what he had, when he opens up the door and joins the sea, with Sue saying how much she loved him and that she would count every single second for him to get back home.
Kiss the Waynes for me. Tell them I'll be back for Christmas. I'm sorry, Suze.
Hey, Kaz. I'm sorry it's been so hard. Just wanted to send you this. To say we'll get through it. I know we will. Just take care out there and bring my beautiful big gallus man back home in one piece, okay? I miss you and I love you. And the girls miss and love you. I'm still raging at Roy, but he's a good man and I know he'll look after you. Whatever happens, we will be all right. We can weather this. Just wanted to say that to you, Kaz. To keep you safe and close and make sure you know to come home to us. I love you, Cameron McCleary. Be safe out there on those waters. My man. My love.
It seems as if when the drill kept going deeper and deeper, it reached some sort of dormant organism, which would react with humans, oil and water, fusing with them and turning into what can be explained as tumorous growth, which also takes over the mind. When Kaz wakes up in Rennick's office, they called him to say that there's something wrong with the drill, which could be the very first contact that they made with this organism. But when they carried on drilling, they unleashed the entity or organism, which could be sitting inside a gas-filled pocket, causing the explosion. It's clear the organism is drawn to oil, as when the character characters in the story speak, the very first people to turn are the ones who got smeared with oil. Even Cass seems to be infected, as when he gets close to the organisms, he starts feeling sick and oily splotches appearing on his vision and on the screen, with his mind playing tricks on him. So when Finley at the end said that it's too late for any of them, she was not wrong, as they seem to have been infected already and it would be a matter of time before they would transform. Also, it made no sense at all whatsoever to ask for aid and rescue ships, as these hostile monsters with the growing organism, which ended up towering over the rig at the end, would surely attack every single person on the rescue ships and eventually end up in the mainlands by boarding on these ships. It's likely the entities that have formed, or at least the organism, would go on to survive in the sea. So when a rescue mission is set out to find survivors or retrieve whatever they can, or simply reinstating other oil rigs, they will most likely unleash this organism again. There's not much information about it, but it seems to be an organism that has been dormant for tens or hundreds of years, deep buried in the seafloor, which is eventually awakened. Towards the end, Cass has a delusion going back to his family, which could mean that he was overtaken by this organism, which would cause his consciousness to be taken to a different place or realm, while his body is under the control of the organism. Or it could simply mean that he became free, given that he sees a clear open sea, with his wife sleeping peacefully, which, in other words, Cass did save them by not going back home, as that would mean the organism would infect them and kill them in a horrendous manner. So, even though Cass never actually saw them again, he did go back home, keeping his promise. Anyway folks, that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to stay tuned for more by hitting on the subscribe button and the notification bell. As always, it's been your host Star, and I will see you on the next one. Have a fantastic day.